Welcome back to Midday. We have author Ian Weir joining us here on set. We're talking about his newest novel. I guess you could describe this as a Western, is that right?
It is. All my life I've wanted to write a Western. I've been a Western fan since I was a kid.
So this is the first time you've done a Western?
This is my first Western. Yeah, I've written Westerns for screen in various forms, but this is the first Western novel I've tried. It's also the first of my novels that I've taken the big plunge and sent the entire thing entirely in North America, which is a big departure for me, a very brave departure for me.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, my previous novels were set in the UK.
Wow. Yeah. So this novel, tell us a little bit about this novel. This is called, well, we actually have a photo as well, maybe of the book cover that we can put up here, but this is the death and life of
Strother Purcell.
Strother Purcell. Okay, that's how you say that.
Yes.
All right.
That's how I say that. There was actually a debate online on Facebook between some friends of mine as to how Purcell should be pronounced, and it sounds as though I may actually be wrong. It may need to be Purcell.
Purcell,
but I call it Purcell. What the heck?
So what is this about exactly? This is obviously a Western novel. Would you call this witty? Would you call this a comedy? How would you describe this to people?
Oh, I would certainly hope to call it witty and funny and wise and deep. Others may not call it that at all. It begins with the discovery of a fragment of a manuscript, which is dropped off in front of the office of a minor academic, sort of an aging history professor, at an institution very much like TRU. Although it's not literally TRU. Yeah. And what it leads to is he becomes convinced that what he's dealing with is the fragments of the untold true life history of Strother Purcell, who's the last lost gunslinger of the American frontier. It's as far as is known, he pursued his outlawed half-brother into the Caribou in the middle of a winter storm in 1876, and they both disappeared there, and it turns out there's an entire story that remains to be told.
Wow.
So it's focusing on the old gunslinger. It's very much a story. It's very much a story about how stories come to be told.
Right.
There are multiple narrators, all of whom are unreliable, and the editor never quite understands what it is that he's editing.
Right.
But over the course of the novel, we finally, we think, realize what it was that happened.
How long did it take you to write this novel? This is your first Western, but so I mean, if you hadn't written a Western before, did this take you longer than normal, or?
This novel actually took about 3 years to write.
Wow.
It didn't take nearly as much research as some of the other novels, just because I've spent decades and decades and decades, reading and watching Westerns.
And you've always wanted to do it.
I write fiction very slowly. When I write for screen, wearing my other hat as a TV and screenwriter, I can write quite quickly. But somehow the novel process is slow. My previous novel took 5 years to write.
Wow.
Which is,
so this is a lot quicker, 3 years.
Yeah, if I live long enough, I may get it down to 18 months, which is, of course, the problem with novels. They're so darn long. It's, writing them is incommensurate with the human lifespan. So.
What are you hoping that the reader gets out of this, Ian? Obviously, like you say, it's witty. There's some redemption in there. There's a lot of different aspects to this novel. What are you hoping that the reader gets out of it?
I hope that
takes away.
I hope that the ride is thoroughly enjoyable. I hope it's a fun story, engagingly told. I also think, though, that when I was a kid, falling in love with Westerns, it wasn't until I was in my teens that I began to realize there's actually something unsettling about the genre itself. I mean, hardwired into the Western, there is something which is politically reactionary.
Interesting.
And it's not just specific Westerns either. There's something in the form that does that. And in an era in which we're increasingly seeing the weaponization of historical myth. It's something, looking at the way myths get constructed and the motives for constructing the myths was really something I'm hoping sort of resonates below the surface of the novel.
All right, well, we wish you the best with this novel. Of course, you can get your hands on this novel now, right? You'll be at Chapters, is that right?
Chapters tomorrow afternoon, signing.
Tomorrow afternoon, book signing at Chapters here in Kamloops. And where can people go if they want to get this? Just your website or Amazon? I mean, where are you?
And any of the online retailers have it. Chapters.
We'll have it,
Peter has lots of copies at Chapters.
Yes.
So yes, a fine bookstore near you.
All right, well, if you want to meet Ian and learn more about the book, chat with him a little bit more about his first Western novel, you can go to Chapters tomorrow. What time, Ian?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. All right. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate that. And again, we wish you luck with this novel. IanWeir.net, of course, is his website to find out more information about this book or Ian himself. And yes, again, best wishes to you.
Thanks so much.
Have fun tomorrow. I'm sure you'll have a crowd.
I will. Thank you.
All right. We're back in a couple of minutes on Midday. Stay with us.